let's keep this one short and sweet, shall we? Because the longer I dwell on this and the longer I draw this one out, the more and more and more it's going to completely frazzle and fry my brain. Anyway, this one goes out to all my console fanboys out there, because clearly you guys are wild, and it's something else lately. But anyway, what are we talking about? Well, what is going on, everybody? It is the one and only Q from Retro Q Gaming, and as we alluded to at the start of the video, although, well, we didn't really allude to it, we pretty much straight flat out said it, we are talking about the console fanboys yet again, the idiots, the defenders, the defense force, and this one goes for all three platforms. This one isn't, even though I will be using specific examples, this one is not just dedicated to one or the other in this one. This one is dedicated to everyone, because as we know, there are lots and lots of talk out there about next gen, about last gen, which is basically the Switch. And there's all types of stuff out there. There's SSD that, there's teraflops this, there's dynamic that, there's ray tracing this, there's whatever it is. Guys, please, all I can think is, if you do not understand technology and hardware, which you guys don't because that's why you're playing on console, please stay in your lane, shut the hell up, sit down, keep your mouth closed. Other than your little fanboy echo chamber that you're talking to, who all agree with you because reasons apparently, but the amount of idiocy I see out there and the amount of expectations based on insanity levels of mental gymnastics in order to try and justify absolutely anything and try to pull something from beyond nothing is just astounding at this point. Now, I mentioned at the start of this year, and even late last year, that this was going to happen. I've mentioned it multiple times that in the run-up to a new console generation, the year that the new consoles come out, the entire year, all of them are just completely insufferable. And this year, and this generation, and this whatever it is absolutely no exception. If I have to hear about SSDs one more time, despite having used them for longer than this generation even exists, I'm going to lose my mind. If I'm going to hear why just this super amazing Sony SSD that is 5.5 gigabits per second throughput speed is going to completely dominate PC gaming, and no PC manufacturer, no hardware maker on PC will ever have a drive this fast ever in the history of the world, despite one of them going to be coming out next month that actually beats the PlayStation Drive, and then let alone what happens in the rest of the year before the PS5 even launches, and then beyond, all in the future. But that is something that these people cannot, I shouldn't even call them people, fanboys are dregs, lesser members of society, they are less than gamers. But these people, they just don't understand, and it is absolutely wild. And these consoles aren't even out yet. We are several months away. We are here in the middle of July, and these consoles are likely going to launch in November, give or take. Assuming they launch in November, that is several months away. We are talking August, September, October, November. We are looking about 4 months of putting up with all of this yet again. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to blow my fucking brains out if I have to do this. If I have to listen to these people. Like I said, between teraflop this, SSD that, RDNA 1.5, 2.5, 2 with factors of 3, 3 with features of 5. These people are just insane. It's redonkulous at this point. And you know, just to harp, because I don't want to harp on specifically just about the Xbox people with their velocity architecture and their 12 teraflops and their Xbox Series L and their Xbox Series S. And I don't just want to beat the shit out of the PS5 group with their SSD that, and well, you know, if we fuse our SSD onto our GPU and onto our CPU and onto our disk drive and our power supply and RAM at the same time, well, it makes 10 teraflops run like 750 teraflops. These people are idiots. It's insane. I literally can't think how I can't make the mental connection to understand how these people are so damaged, so butthurt, so emotionally insecure and invested in a piece of plastic that they need to justify this, to reinforce their own identity, if you will. It's just insanity. But again, I don't want to specifically just harp on against the Xbox guys. I don't just specifically want to harp on the PlayStation guys. While both of them are bad, of course, it would be remiss of me if I left out the worst fan base of them all. Now, I'm not talking about the Dark Souls fan base. They are one of the three worst fan bases in gaming. The other ones are Nier and, well, Nintendo. So, but when we come to what we're talking about here, because we are just talking about the three hardware manufacturers, it is the worst fanboy segment of the three hardware manufacturers, which is the Nintendrones. Because these people, with how ridiculously underpowered and behind technologically that the Switch is, you have these people. I'm going to use an example here. You might remember Crysis Remastered was announced, I don't know, maybe a month ago, maybe a little over, give or take. And then, of course, it was subsequently quickly and swiftly delayed because, well, the leaked trailer looked like a piece of shit with basically no upgrades. Now, of course, it has come out since then that the Nintendo Switch version will not be delayed because there's pretty much no improvement they can do on it. And, well, if you remember the press release for the announcement of Crysis Remastered, they specifically mentioned that it was all down to the new version of the CryEngine, which supported API-agnostic ray tracing, which means you do not need specific APIs like, say, RTX, or you don't need specific hardware, again, like RTX, you don't need, it's engine-specific, so you don't need to worry about stuff like DXR or the Microsoft version, which is basically run on DXR, it's basically the same thing, but it's API agnostic, so it completely disregards all of that. It's all in engine, so no matter what type of hardware you have, as long as it's powerful enough to run it, it can, in theory, run it. And of course, because these people, these Nintendrones, are lesser than the least, if you will, and their reading comprehension and just cognitive abilities are arguably nil, they automatically read this, despite it clearly being 100% completely obvious that they were talking about the engine in general, when Crytek said that the engine would support it. And of course, naturally, idiot's going to idiot, fanboy's going to fanboy, which took the internet to Nintendrones. We have confirmed, absolutely confirmed, ray tracing support on the Nintendo Switch. Of course, anyone with a brain and anyone who actually understands technology knew that that was not the case, and that would never, ever be the case. And lo and behold, we have a new announcement just today where they detailed the extremely low resolution and frame rate and quality of everything of Crysis Remastered on the Switch, and they did 100% reconfirm, as expected by anybody with a brain and any understanding of technology, that while the Xbox One, or at least some form of the Xbox One, because it may be the Series or maybe the Xbox One X, some type of the PS4, it may be the PS4 or the PS4 Pro or both, and obviously the PC version would all have software-based ray tracing, and that the Nintendo Switch does not. You know why? Because it cannot run it, and anyone with a brain and cognitive function and deductive reasoning and understands technology in every single way, or any single way at this point, well, we knew it. Naturally, all these idiots are up in arms, and, well, the websites are kind of melting down, and they're kind of trying to play it off and be all, oh, we never said that, and then you post links to all their comments where they were saying, oh, confirmed, switch. These people are dregs, not specifically just the Nintendo ones, but all of them, absolute dregs. And if I have to put up, well, first off, I'm going to have to put up with another few years of this, because the Switch one isn't going anywhere, unfortunately. However, I am going to have to put up with the Xbox and PlayStation one for a few more months, until the consoles launch, we get them in our hands, they're pieces of shit, and the PC still trounces them. So, I'm going to be frustrated and losing my fucking mind for another 4 months. Look forward to that one, boyos.